Andrew Carnegie was born on the 25th of November 1835 in Fife, Scotland. At the age of 13, he, his younger brother and parents moved from Dunfermline, Scotland to the United States to become immigrants in America. Andrew and his family were extremely poor. They relocated to Pennsylvania, America, intending to seek greener pastures. After settling in the country for a while, Andrew's father started a weaving business as a means to provide for his helpless family. However, the business couldn't stand. It failed completely, leaving the old man frustrated. As a young teenager, Andrew decided to fight poverty and aid his family by any means possible. He engaged himself in some tedious odd jobs, making only a few cents per day. He later became a bobbing boy, earning $1.20 every week. A few years later, Andrew's hard-working spirit started bringing significant results. He got employed at a local telegraph company and was later promoted to a telegraph operator after he independently taught himself to operate the device. After working as a telegraph operator for a few years, he got hired at a railroad company, which eventually brought financial stability to him and his family. When he became 24, he was made superintendent of the Western Division of the Pennsylvania Railroad. Sometime later, Andrew began to develop an entrepreneurial spirit that propelled him to start thinking about starting his own business. While working as a superintendent, he had learned so much about management, cost control, and other key aspects of operating a business. Andrew invested his money in the steel industry by starting his own steel manufacturing company called Carnegie Steel. This was a capital-intensive business due to the expensiveness of steel at the time. When he started this business, some competitors dominated the steel industry, preventing his company from succeeding hugely. However, Andrew was a brilliant man who understood the tactics of business. He came up with a strategy that enabled him to buy out almost all of his competitors, so he could be the largest steel manufacturer in the United States. By 1880, Andrew's company had become the largest steel manufacturer in the world. Before his retirement, he ventured into oil wells and the production of coke and pig iron. Andrew later sold his company for over $300 million and became one of the wealthiest men in America at the time. When he retired, he spent about 90% of his fortune on philanthropic work, making him one of the greatest and most generous philanthropists in the world's history. Poverty is currently one of the toughest problems in the world. It's a common obstacle that controls almost everyone in life. You may probably be among the billions of people facing this problem, but don't ever choose to remain in the category of poverty-stricken people. There are many billionaires today that were born wretched and poor. They refused to stay poor and decided to do something about their situation. Eli Kamarov said, "Poverty is like punishment for a crime you didn't commit. Suffering from a crime you are not guilty of is completely unfair and inappropriate. This is the same thing as being poor. It's like being punished for a crime that wasn't committed by you. This means that you have to save yourself from this unfair punishment by ensuring that poverty is completely eradicated from your life." John F. Kennedy said, "The world is very different now. Every man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of poverty." Some people are so engulfed in poverty that they now believe that they aren't capable of helping themselves out. No matter how poor one is, he or she still has the ability, the potential and power to overcome that poverty. David Kingsley said, "Poverty is like a veil of darkness that blindfolds one from seeing the brighter side of life. Anyone who is poor can hardly see the great things that life has to offer. Poverty diminishes one's intellectual capacity and makes one not to see beyond the state of being poor. This is the reason why you must overcome poverty. You can push yourself to financial freedom." Andrew Carnegie was born poor, but he fought poverty and became incredibly wealthy. You too can put an end to the life of poverty, just like Andrew did.